it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and Alex was showing like no respect, just like going on. It's like, whoa, look at him. He's like, but you're about to give him a compliment, like look at him, body and knee to the head, but what? Not, I mean, I like how it's very subtle. But Israel will first, before he lands that overhand right, he like touched him with the left, a little touch. He does that to know where he is. It's like, there's the chin, boom, and there's the head. And then even when he hit him going down, you see him come back. It's like that left hand comes back and it's from his hip and it comes back and he catches him on the way down. And then he gave that one straight. That was out of an anime movie. That was,
yeah.
Just to speak to the character of that guy, losing 3 times, being knocked out twice, still having the balls to go back in there where this could have been a total disaster. And the fight wasn't moving in his direction by no means. You know, he's getting his leg chopped up pretty good. What he did, I think, was unbelievable for such a variety of reasons. And if he really rope-a-doped him, then my hat's really off to you. But I think, he probably did. But you could see he came out guns blazing after he was covering up. But I think what he did is absolutely remarkable.
I'm very glad that he decided to retire. Not simply because I don't think he can't go out there and win fights, but the man is 38 years old, right? So it's about that time. He's had 52 professional mixed martial arts contests, of course, a lot of fights there. We saw that he's slowing down. He's not going to sniff the title anytime soon, let's be honest. He's lost to Gilbert Burns. He's lost his last 3 in a row now. 4 in a row, I believe. 4.
2 Usman, Covington, Burns.
Yeah. So it's a long road back. And granted, he could still make some money and still be a draw. But as he said, he's got things going on outside the octagon. He's made a lot of money, so I'm very, very happy for him in that regard. And what a storybook fairy tale ending to put down the gloves or retire in Miami, because that's where he started. That's where he was born. That's where he was raised. You could see the support that he had. And for me, when I retired, I always wanted to have one last fight in London so I could do that. And that's what you dream of. That's the perfect way to end a career. Granted, the perfect way is to do it on the back of a win. But that's a hard thing to do. When you win, maybe you keep going. So I'm glad that he called it a day on his own terms. He got to do it in his backyard. I mean, Masvidal will always be remembered for that breakout year in 2019. But he was always a game guy. He was always the type of guy that would throw down with anyone. He was always a real one, and there's a lot of people that claim to be cut from that cloth. But there's not, certainly I'm not naming any names, but a lot of the newer generation not necessarily aren't necessarily that. Masvidal clearly was. He'll always be remembered. I think he's got a special place. He's the one and the only BMF.
Somebody's a dog. He's down for the opponent change on the last drop a second of a dime. I'm down for the opponent change on the last second of a dime. You know what I mean? It's whatever. And not everybody's down for that. And the promotion doesn't always need stuff like that. And so, he did a good job of steering it away. And, at the end of the day, George is retired now. So, no reason to be interested in that man when it comes to combat sports. And if it's ever another problem, well, then that has nothing to do with, anything else other than me and George. So it's like, only thing he ever had that I wanted was a big mouth belt, and the way I look at it is it says BMO, so it's big mouth motherfuckers. So
great, man. I felt like, like the UFC was pushing him, the media was pushing him. I bought in. I started pushing it myself. I was like, all right, well, let's jump on the bandwagon. Let's try to sell this guy as much as possible. And but in the back of my mind, like these guys, they just don't know. They just don't know that what was about to happen, And so it was more of one of those things like, let's big him up. Let's make him seem like the biggest, scariest monster we could possibly make him sound like, and then go out there and knock him out. I felt like he fought. He did what he had to do with the fighters that they threw in front of him, but he hasn't fought anybody. He hasn't been in there. He hasn't really been tested. He hasn't really got in there with a skilled guy. His last W was over Randy Costa and Tony Kelly, and I mean that's just not going to do it. That's just not going to do it. Now I'm not saying he's not quick. He doesn't hit hard and all that, but like he it just wasn't what they were selling. I'm like, I don't know. Like, you guys are building him up, but when you look and you break down his record and you look at his skill set, and you look at his fight, and even if you go back and watch that Randy Costa fight, or even the David Grant fight, like it could have been questionable that maybe he even lost that David Grant fight. So I'm like, all right, bro, like this is the perfect non-ranked fighter that I can get with the biggest name, and I know he's going to make it exciting as well. And you saw what happened.
I think at that point I'm just gonna go 185. Honestly, I'm gonna go look for Chimaev again. He moved up. I can fight at 185. I'm not worried about it, so I'll move up, look for him. Maybe he'll finally come out and play that again. Cause it's like, all right, I made it to the top in 170, 185. I'll do the same thing. If I'm not gonna get a title fight, just give me the fights that really get me excited. Give me like a Sean Strickland, somebody that I dislike, somebody that I hate, that'll be fun to punch in the mouth.
You don't like Sean Strickland?
No, not at all.
Why is that?
Like, do you guys really like him? Like, when he comes in here, like, I don't think he's a very likable guy.
Obviously, then afterwards, he turns around, he finds Alex Pereira's son in the octagon, points at him, right? Oh, hold on, Brian, not yet. Points at him, and then falls on the floor and mocks the knockout, right? And a lot of people I'm seeing, Izzy shouldn't have done that. There was no class there. But as we see there, Brian, he was just queuing that up. This is exactly what Alex's son did in 2017. When he knocked him out, he led there next to him, fell on the floor and pretending to be knocked out. And that is just... Hold on. So now there's his son. Yeah. I mean, his son's a kid there, right? Yeah. He's very, very young. He was 7 at the time. Izzy was a 33-year-old man. Well, thank you for giving Izzy's age, Harrington. Not relevant. Now, here's what should have happened after that. After Alex's son did that, he should have came out, maybe put a tweet out, apologising, saying, hey, I'm gonna have a word with my son, tell him that was disrespectful. You don't do that. If a guy wants to do it, when it's two fighters, if one of the fighters wants to do it, if there's a bit of beef, fair enough. Fair enough. I'm all for that. Anyone else, cornerman, family, children, whatever, shouldn't do that. And if Pereira had have disciplined his son, or just had a word with him, or made him to publicly apologise or something like that, then Izzy would have been bang out of order. But that never happened. That never came. You know what I mean? It's like they all continue to laugh at Izzy. So at that point, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You know what I mean? And I don't blame Izzy for doing it one little bit.
Savages.
Savages.